All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the recap. Michael D'Angelo flying solo this week. El Comandante Daryl Ortiz had a full schedule, so you just get me, and we had some technical difficulties, so this one's a little bit delayed, but I am going to give you the abbreviated version. We'll say the abbreviated Monday Night Raw and SmackDown recaps from last week, and we'll try to touch on the high points, I would say, at this point, but. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. So, Monday Night Raw opened with Stephanie Vaquer coming out for a promo. She looked fantastic, by the way. Called out Liv Morgan for a fight. This is the continuation of her wanting to get her title back. And then, of course, Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez, and Raquel Rodriguez all came out and trash talked Stephanie Vaquer. And then they ran down and attacked her. Then we got Becky Lynch out to help out. And then, of course, Stephanie and Becky then jawed a little bit, had some pushing back and forth. And this is just, again, more of the same. It's nice to see Stephanie Vaquer back. But this one was just pretty much run of the mill, the usual stuff. This was followed immediately by an impromptu match between JD McDonough and Javon Evans, which I believe happened or started during the break, which was kind of ridiculous. There was interference throughout that match from Dominic Mysterio, who was ringside. Evans did win with the OG cutter, and then afterwards got attacked by Big Cass again, and then got beat down again. And then when Big Cass walked away, Evans called out Big Cass to come back again. And then he got beat up again. So I don't know. This was all fine. It was just Big Cass trashing Javon Evans over and over and over. After this, we got Rey Fenix versus El Fiscalo for the WWE World Championship Tournament, the tournament with all the luchadors in it for Lucha Libre. They'll be facing Roman Reigns in Mexican City. Rey Fenix, of course, won with the Mexican Muscle Buster. You kind of know that all the WWE guys are really going to get put over in this one. I think we're kind of heading towards a Rey Fenix versus Penta, brother versus brother in the tournament. It's what it's looking like it's shaping up to be. But so far it's been fun. I love luchadors. You all know, if you follow our work here in El Paso, we work with Lucha Frontera. So love the luchadors, love Lucha Libre style wrestling. So this stuff was all fun. This is some of the better stuff that we've seen on Monday Night Raw. After this, we got Sol Ruca versus Lyra Valkyrie, or Lyra Valkyria. Lyra Valkyria. And this was wasn't a number one contenders match for the IC title. It was just they're both looking to become contenders for the title eventually. Match was good. They worked well together. Sol Ruca did eventually pick up the win, hit the Soul Snatcher, and that was that. And then after this, one of the more eventful pieces was Braun Breaker coming out to the ring to call out Oba Femi because he's unhappy with how Paul Heyman's considering Oba Femi to be the future of WWE. He was surprisingly interrupted by Paul Heyman, and Breaker asked Heyman, who's the future of WWE? Before Heyman could kind of double down on it, we had Oba Femi's music hit, and down came Oba Femi, and basically Oba was like, Brock Lesnar knows who the future is. It's me. If you got a problem with an answer, then you can take it up with me anytime, any place. Braun Breaker's like, right here, right now. And then Paul Heyman, again, surprisingly said, take one more step and towards Oba Femi, and it'll be a permanent step away from Paul Heyman. So give him a little bit of notice. And Heyman said that everything now went on this terabyte is about shareholders and box office, which is probably true because ESPN and WWE also raised their prices for the ESPN Plus. So everything is about shareholders and box office and stakeholders. And so because of that, they're going to be facing off on September 6th at Sunday night's main event. So not Saturday night main event, Sunday night's main event. So there it is. They're going to face off with the winner being the future of the business. So in 2 weeks. After this, we had another Lucha tournament match, Dragon Lee versus Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. And Dragon Lee, of course, picked up the win and advanced. I think he is going to face Rey Fenix next week. But I'm wondering if Rey Fenix is going to pick up the win and then he'll maybe be facing off with his brother. But Lucha tournament, again, continues to be good stuff. And speaking of luchadors, we had one of the greatest luchadors of all time after this was Rey Mysterio versus Chad Gable for the Intercontinental title. This one was a really great match. It was my match of the night. Very back and forth and fast paced. We had Gable hitting an ankle slam from the top rope at one point. He locked in the ankle lock. Ray rolled out and then sent Gable into the ropes and countered. He had a couple of 619s, so it kind of looked like he was going to possibly pull it off. Went for a frog splash, but Gable got his knees up, countered into an ankle lock. And then it was a surprise roll-up from Ray, countered with a surprise roll-up from Chad Gable. Good finish. I don't generally like the surprise rollout finish, but this one worked really well. It was a great match. It was a lot of fun. Very reminiscent of Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio from all those years and years and years ago. So it was really good stuff. Match of the night. That was the main event, but it wasn't the main event because the main event was the closing segment of the show with Jey Uso and Jimmy delivering Solo to Roman Reigns after Jimmy beat Solo the week before, and that was the whole point. He had to deliver Solo Sikoa to Roman Reigns. And this segment for me was a little bit weak. It was Roman basically saying he was petty and he had receipts for Solo. And then he proceeded to play a video package for Solo to recap the rivalry from 3 years ago. Like Solo's not aware. He's like, hold on. Watch this. You remember how we've had this falling out? It's like, yeah, I'm sure Solo doesn't need a video package reminding him of why you guys don't like each other. But apparently that's a thing that they do. So, this went on. And then he's told Solo that he should be on his knees begging him. And then he struck Solo and Jacob attacked Solo with a Tongan death grip. And then Roman called off Jacob. Said he had more business to handle, so he took a timeout to promote Jimmy and Jey to captains. So this is, again, a little awkward. The pacing on this thing was strange. So he stopped the beat down on Solo to do a promotion and promoted Jimmy and Jey to captains and basically said, anything that they're basically me, an extension of me. And then he turned his attention back to Solo. And then you had LA Knight coming down to intervene, took out Jimmy and Jey. And then Jacob attacked LA Knight from behind, and Roman hit the Superman punch. And then he told Solo to choose, and in LA Knight, serve your family. And Solo was like, I'm sorry, LA Knight. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And then Samoan Spikes, not LA Knight, but Roman Reigns, which is pretty obvious. And then Knight and Solo kind of cleared out the bloodline. While Jacob kind of stood there in the corner and did nothing, which is a little odd. They took out Roman. I believe Roman got hit with a BFT also. And got laid out. And Jacob just kind of stood there in the corner and didn't do anything. So that's how the show ended, with LA Knight and Solo getting out of there. And LA Knight's like, you know what this means, right? You know what this means? He's like, yeah, I know. So I know what this means. It feels like they're going to build to a Survivor Series War Games match, which we're going to see Bloodline versus Bloodline 2.0 or 2.3 or whatever this is going to be again. It's fine. I like Solo here as the face, though. He's totally done the babyface turn. The crowd's totally embraced him on it. Solo's a lot of fun. I like his personality. He seems like he's the most fun out of that whole Bloodline group in terms of just having charisma. So I like Solo Sikoa as a babyface. So this was good. And then SmackDown was coming from Toronto, Canada, which, of course, this is going to be the big culmination: CM Punk versus Kevin Owens in Kevin Owens' home country. In Toronto. And for me, it was obvious that Kevin Owens was not going to win. It was just like, how are they going to get there? And then we immediately kind of got the indication there because there was a video package recapping last week's brawl between Orton and Cody Rhodes. And then it jumped into a backstage argument immediately live between Nick Aldis and Sami Zayn, with Sami Zayn complaining about not being in the championship match, then how, it was an injustice again. And then Randy popped up to interrupt Sami. And then Cody popped up in the ring to interrupt the interruption, and they're all interrupting each other. And then Nick addressed Cody, and Orton was right behind him to engage. And of course, they just said, "Your guys are going to face off at Sunday night's main event in 2 weeks," which was the total cop out. Same thing for Monday Night Raw with Braun Breaker and Obafemi. The cop out is you'll face each other in 2 weeks at Sunday night's main event. And then Nick was like, "Oh, and by the way, if either of you touch each other before then, you'll never have a world title shot again." So that way, it forces them to not touch each other for 2 weeks. We did see Orton calling Cody the good guy, that he doesn't have being bad in him, and teasing the heel turn once again for Cody Rhodes. And then I will say Cody did use the Paul Heyman, "this is not a prediction, it's a spoiler" line, which the telegraphing, and they've really been telegraphing him turning heel for like 2 years. And let's be honest, Cody has been a heel for the last couple of years anyway. I hope that they actually make him commit to it at this point, and they do turn him heel eventually. I'm not going to hold my breath because we've been waiting for a while. After this, we had Tala and Tama Tonga calling out the rest of the division, R-Truth and Damian Priest specifically, and we immediately got Priest and Truth versus the MFTs in a rematch for the tag titles. And of course, the MFTs retained after hitting the Red Cross on Truth. So this was good. This was fine. I've never been wild about Priest and Truth as a tag team because they're not a real tag team. So it'll be nice to segue away from them and maybe have some matches with actual tag teams. After this, we had CM Punk backstage interview, and then Randy Orton just popped in to give Punk a warning that he was coming for him, and he's like, "All right, dude, see you then." And then after this, we also got Paige and Chelsea and Tiffany Stratton were all facing off against Fatal Influence, and they chatted. And then after this, we got a Blake Monroe interview. Lots of interviews, lots of backstage segments, too many in a row. And then eventually, we were going to get our second match, which was Blake Monroe versus Julia. And Blake Monroe versus Julia never actually happened, though, because Blake jumped Julia during her walkout, during the entrance. The match never started. She hit a neutralizer and left. It was kind of awkward. The crowd really wasn't into it. They didn't really react, and we didn't actually get a match. So in the first hour, we had one match and one match that never started. And then we had more backstage shenanigans. Charlotte Flair, Tiffany Stratton, Michin, B-Fab, Jade Cargill, and that girl that got called up from NXT all had a wacky segment. Then you had Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, and Gunther jawing back and forth. And then this led to Tiffany Stratton versus Lash Legends. So we finally got another match. And then Tiffany, of course, was nursing the injured ribs. So you knew that she wasn't going to win, and she didn't, because Lash Legend did eventually hit the Lash extension and won. Nia Jax attacked Tiffany afterwards, and then you had Chelsea Green run down to try to defend. At least she brought a kendo stick with her, and she ran off Nia Jax and Lash Legend. All this stuff was fine. Then we got another video package of Shinsuke Nakamura introducing his partner, Kaoki, I believe. And they just called out the MFTs. And I'm like, okay, cool. Right on. Hopefully we'll see more of them. And then this led to our main event of the evening, which was Kevin Owens versus CM Punk for the WWE Championship. And of course, you knew Kevin Owens wasn't going to win here. And it was obvious Sami Zayn was going to play into it. And of course, he did play into it. The match was really great. The crowd was firmly behind Kevin Owens because he was the hometown hero. Punk was really hearing it from the crowd. And he really played the heel role for the crowd. Kind of was antagonizing the Toronto Maple Leafs. He was really sticking it to the crowd the whole time. So I will say in this one, though, from a competitive standpoint, Kevin Owens really was in the driver's seat for most of the match. He had a frog splash from the barricade through the announce table onto Punk, then hit a swanton bomb immediately after that. You had a moment getting towards the end of the match where the ref got knocked out. Obviously, he barely got touched, and he's like, oh, and he collapses, and he's completely incapacitated. Ref knocked out. And then you had Sami Zayn ran out and attacked Punk. He threw him into the ring post, then rolled him into the ring. Kevin Owens hit the stunner. He almost won. Then Sami slid the title into the ring for Kevin Owens to use. And then Kevin Owens grabbed the title, and Sami's like, hey, use it. And KO's like, no, I'm not going to win like this. I'm not going to win like this. And then handed it back to him. And then Sami just inexplicably hit him in the head with the title and won. So Sami Zayn cost him, even though he was down there very aggressively trying to help him win. As soon as he's like, I don't want to win this way, then he hit him with the title and caused him to lose. So now, obviously, this is going to just pivot back into Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn and reigniting their old feud, which I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. At least it gives Sami Zayn something to do and Kevin Owens something to do. It would have been nice to see Kevin Owens win here, but you knew that wasn't going to happen. And Punk's already going to just end up pivoting to the winner of Orton versus Rhodes, because that's a number one contenders match. And that's coming up in 2 weeks. And gosh, golly, I hope it doesn't end up being Cody Rhodes winning again. And we see CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes again. I don't want to see that. It'd be cool if we got to get Randy Orton versus CM Punk and Randy Orton won and became a 15-time champion. That would be cool. But yeah, that was pretty much it. We're heading to Sunday night's main event. What did you all think of Raw and SmackDown? Leave us your comments. We always love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And that's what we got for this week. Short and sweet, keeping this one easy peasy. And that's what I've got for today. So till next time, I've been Michael D'Angelo. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you soon.